For all of you that have been drawing eyes, even at life size, I guarantee you're never drawing exactly the way that we're going to do here. I'm looking so forward to drawing this in detail. If we gain nothing else from this lesson, it would be the experience drawing details that our drawings have never asked us to draw before. If this doesn't have your blood pumping, I don't know what will. So some things that will apply and be totally consistent are the fact that we're going to have to go from broad to specific. If you're drawing eyelashes right now, maybe, just maybe, you're not in the right place. I tend to open the eyes up a little bit more than I should or more than they actually are. So just double check how much of the iris is showing, how open is the eye, because you kind of risk to make somebody look like this instead of looking how we normally look, which is, in my case, usually pretty sleepy. But if we get that part wrong, usually it kind of shows up later in the drawing by the model having kind of a weird expression on their face. While it may seem early, I think maybe this is the moment where we enter that journey into the unknown. I want this to be a full value drawing pretty much. To do that at some point or other, you have to start engaging with the kind of values that ultimately are gonna make up your drawing. Not only from the perspective of halftones, but also into the darkest darks. Making that transition can be, I think, very difficult. In order to do that, I tend to do a lot of smudging. Smudging gives you halftones and halftones give you volume. If one of the main goals that we have in creating a drawing in the first place is to get something to escape that kind of flat two-dimensional surface of the paper, being able to rapidly indicate volume is, I don't know, probably one of the most important tools that you can have to access. Plus, when you're done drawing, you get these nice dirty looking hands like you've been working in a coal mine. Really makes you feel like you've been doing something. I'm just gonna start working into the iris. I think that there's plenty of detail given the specular highlights, given the light passing through the cornea, given the transition in between the iris and the sclera, the white of the eye. These are all things that are case in point for why we're studying this. I want you to look really close right now at your source image. I want you to look at that edge in between the iris and the white of the eye. Tell me what kind of edge you see. It's a soft edge. In fact, it's not the sharpest edge in the picture. The edge of the pupil itself against the iris is in fact sharper than the edge of the iris versus the white of the eye. One of the big things that I wanted to play on in this project was finding what I thought were the real edges in between things. So often when we're drawing kind of zoomed out, less than life size, or even drawing at life size, find that you're making kind of symbolic representations of things, right? You're kind of showing how something looks, maybe not how it is. Some of these things just kind of get left out or given a kind of a shorthand solution. So kind of edges that we're going to work with here, try and be as literal as I possibly can. So we have the physical ending or the crease below the brow ridge, and that is like this super hard edge. But you can see the way that there's like a form shadow just at the bottom edge of where the brow ridge approaches that crease. And then there's a cast shadow. There's an honest to goodness cast shadow falling across the upper eyelid here. Even has an ambient occlusion. You can see as we get closer to that crease, it gets a little bit darker. So cool to get to draw this. Honestly, I hope that you're sharing my enthusiasm about this. The white of the eye on that side is really considerably darker than it is on the other. So my 2H, I'm going to start to build up that value and then even start to build up some of the value in that outside corner as well. Yeah, anywhere where you see strong highlight like we do here, to the left of the tear duct, consider you can add value to this entire area. You can then, with your eraser, kind of pull out the highlight. I promised eyebrows, and now we got to get into eyebrows. Broadly speaking, the eyebrow is a massive value. And so treating it like that initially, I think is highly advantageous. As we establish that and work it into the visual language of the drawing, we're going to then follow up by creating texture in the right areas. But to actually build up the eyebrow as individual hairs, I just can't see it. I just don't think about drawing exactly in that way. So I'm going to build it up as a very dark texture. And I'm going to follow a little bit also the trajectory of those hairs. As they get closer to the center line of the face, they shift from being more horizontal to being more vertical. As they get over the top of the eye here, we have these long horizontal passages. that I think we can pretty easily illustrate with a texture like this. I think this is just some of the most fascinating stuff when you get into detail properly. I feel like it reveals so much character. You know, the way that this isn't a flat plane, there's a roundness to it. Why are we having this gradation down at the bottom that gets darker, gets lighter again? Before, there's a little overhanging passage just below that 3/4 ridge where the eyelashes are coming out. I mean, imagine the things that you're going to discover in doing this that later you're going to use as a shorthand in your drawing. So whenever I need to speed up, the answer is always the same. I go with music. It's got tempo, it's got motivation. So while I'm doing the speed up, I'm going to vibe out. I'm going to come back and do eyelashes at the end. Now, eyelashes. What are we going to do? I'm going to take this central section, partly because those are the eyelashes I never draw. The way that they appear to us here, they look like they go straight up. Just starting to sketch out the pathways of these eyelashes. And I'm honestly being maybe as photographic as I think I've ever been. It's still trying to follow a pattern. I'm not literally measuring out where each one should be. Now you notice, classic perspective here, as we turn inward, they start to sort of arc outward this way, start to achieve a more diagonal appearance than these that are kind of straight up and down. Even so, I tend not to draw these ones on the inner curve as well. It's like I've never thought that they accentuated the shape of the eye in a way that I liked. But I've always created that judgment before putting them in, so here's my opportunity to like kind of give them a chance to do what they do and really be able to judge. I mean, it's kind of always my feeling in drawing and painting. If you haven't done it, it's difficult to say that you can judge the value of it. I think a project like this is so enriching for a portrait artist. Let yourself dive in, not knowing what you're gonna find, and just see where the detail takes you.